I've talked a lot in the past about the fact that when it comes to comic book superheroes, I'm really more of a DC guy. And one of the things that kind of comes with that is an innate understanding of the fact that DC's kind of hard to get into. A lot of its biggest characters are very archetypal and were made almost 100 years ago. And because of that, the company tends to reset its continuity with an alarming amount of regularity that makes it very hard to find your footing. And trust me, I know this all too well. You see, I actually got into current comics only a few months before the New 52 was announced. So from day one, with my preferred company, I have been constantly having to readjust and find my footing over and over again, and I only feel like I've recently gotten really good ground, and that's really because I have to read stuff every week for the No Prize podcast over on Modular Media. But I still recognize for new people it's gotta be hard, which is why whenever a book that's out of continuity or set way in the future or set way in the past happens, I find that that's much easier to recommend, which is why I wanted to talk about Batman Superman World's Finest, a book that's going on right now, and is the brainchild of Mark Waid, a legendary comics writer who wrote one of the greatest DC books of all time that I still need to read, Kingdom Come, and one of the best Daredevil runs ever, and is being drawn by Dan Mora, who is a relative newcomer but has been consistently wowing myself and many others with his works on books like Klaus and Power Rangers. Before we get too far into it, though, I should mention that I don't have any physical copies of this book to use as props because, I read comics the special way because I don't have a lot of extra funds these days. So if you want to help improve that situation, if you want to support me and support comics by proxy, please pledge to the Patreon, buy the merch, do all those kind of YouTubery, supporty, make me money things. As I said, the book takes place in the past, specifically in the general time period of DC's Silver Age, which was when a lot of the heroes that we know from the company now were at their most iconic and kind of shiniest. Yes, Batman and Superman are rooted in the Golden Age, but the Silver Age is where they were kind of refined, and there was a lot of experimentation going around, and we got a lot of the side concepts and reinventions of classic characters into the versions we know today, like Green Lantern and the Flash. The title itself is even kind of rooted in that, because World's Finest was one of DC's oldest books and concepts. It dates all the way back to the 1940s, when it was just kind of a way of taking the two most popular characters and throwing them together in a general regular monthly team-up book in order to generate some more cash. But it stuck around for so long and had so many memorable stories that the term World's Finest itself is generally associated with Batman and Superman teaming up in the modern era. Unless you're somebody like Hack Snyder, then you're just going to throw the dumbest title in fiction on your movie. And that's why I feel so comfortable recommending this book to new readers. It doesn't hold your hand on a lot of general concepts, but it does a good enough job of just keeping the action and the story moving that you never get too bogged down in details and, ooh, who's that person? Why is this happening? Where are they now? It's just a fun story that you want to go with. The first story in the book, in fact, is just a really fun adventure across the DC universe that feels like Wade is having fun taking a lot of his old toys back out of the toy box and messing with them again, because he'd been writing for Marvel for a while before this book happened, while also doing some setup for his big event in the modern era that he was working on and is also going on right now. Like, there are good reasons for Robin, Supergirl, the rest of the Justice League, and the Doom Patrol all showing up, but in the moment you get the sense that Wade just really wanted to write these characters again, and it's all in good fun, so it doesn't really hurt all that much to have them there. Plus, there's some fun new bits of characterization that I never would have thought of, but work extremely well, like Robin and Supergirl having a very standoffish relationship because apparently they had an extremely bad first date once. Sidebar, Supergirl's moments are very few and far between in this book, but whenever they happen, you really get the sense that Wade just gets this character and is giving you as much good stuff with her as you can. And as somebody who has her as my favorite superhero, it makes your boy very happy. But of course, the Silver Age wasn't all serious business. A lot of people know that period of comics as where some of the truly wacky stories and crazy out there concepts that have been abandoned in modern times come from, such as the supers being able to fly so fast that they break the time barrier and can travel through time, which is something that's actually used to great effect here, with Supergirl and Robin going back in time to help investigate the villain plot in the first arc that ends up with Robin getting stranded in the past and Superman and Batman having to go back and get him in a filler issue, which acts as a wonderful exploration of those characters' roots in the circus. Yeah, I bet you forgot that, but Superman and Batman are actually originally supposed to be played on the classic strongman archetype. And then when they return to what is the present day for them in the next arc, we got a really interesting tale about Superman trying to take on a new sidekick that ended up becoming just a heartbreaking prequel to Kingdom Come that I didn't even realize until Boingo explained that to me on No Prize, which I thought was actually a sign of just how good the book is, because as somebody who didn't read Kingdom Come and still plans to, don't get mad at me in the comments, it's on my to-do list, I still enjoyed the story. I still found everything in it very compelling and really sad and bittersweet there at the end. But knowing who that character becomes later now, and knowing that that's a great story I'm going to get to enjoy one day, oh, that makes it all the better. Which is one of the greatest strengths of this book. It's fun to just read in the moment and not really know a lot about the rest of the DC universe, but when you start branching out and exploring other aspects, or if you already know those aspects as a longtime fan, your experience is even more rewarding. And speaking of rewarding, can we talk about Dan Mora's art in this book? Because I have always been a fan of sketchy but cartoonish art styles, and he just has always had one of the best ones. I love how dynamic and full and bright and engaging his characters look. It really pops off the page and just brings that level of joy and excitement that the Silver Age really had for its characters. But he's not the only great artist on this book. Travis Moore also is here. He does the art for that fill-in circus issue I discussed, and his art is very similar, but also has this very warm and soft tinge to it that I really appreciate and helps kind of bring the nostalgic glow of that issue to life in a very unique way. So yeah, obviously I heavily recommend this book. It's not the only great DC book going on right now, but it's the most easily accessible one, in my opinion. The first arc is already out in trade, and the next issue actually comes out next Tuesday, which is going to be another one-off that will be a flashback story to Supergirl and Robin's horrible first date. You know your boy's excited to read that. So if you are too, if you're at all interested in this book, go to your local bookstore or comic book store and get it. Check it out, support comics, read current, and get into that shit, because I promise you, you will not be disappointed. So until next time, this is the Vacuuminator reminding you that you never fail until you stop trying. I know I forgot to say it last week, so there it is. And guys, never stop trying to read good comics, because there's plenty of them out there. See ya.